Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langhayati girim yat kripatamaham bande paramananda madhavam. I bow down to that blissful Krishna, by whose grace the lame scale mountains and the dumb become eloquent. May Krishna be the guide of our life. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Peace, peace, peace be to all. This morning our subject is Thoughts on the Gita, part 79. How we look at life. All human beings want joy, peace, excitement, inspiration, adventure, so that their lives should not be bored, stagnant. As Swami Vivekananda says, stagnation is death, expansion is life. All human beings are looking these things in their lives. This is not for me, but for every one of this world. Now, where is the answer? When you raise a problem, a question, you need an answer. What is the answer? The answer is in the Upanishad. Bhumaivo yovai bhuma tat sukham nalpe sukham asti. Yatra annat pashyati, annat srinoti, annat vijanati sa bhuma. Atha yatra annat annat anjasti, annat pashyati, annat srinoti, annat vijanati tad alpam. That is the answer. Bhuma means vast, infinite. Bliss is only in the infinite, not in the finite things in this world. What is finite? The thing which you can see, you can hear, you can touch, you can know. I know this here. That is finite. The thing which you know, you hear, you see, that is finite. And the thing which you do not see, which you do not hear, which you do not know, that is infinite. So, human beings, your mind, my mind, all are finite. But the Atman which is within us is infinite. So if you know the infinite, you reach the goal. You will never be bored. All the time you will find that the spiritual realm is always exciting, inspiring. Which is very interesting. This adventure for the infinite is inherent in every human being because it is refreshing, interesting, exciting, blissful. So when you reach the infinite, what will happen? The Upanishad says, Atma Roti, Atma Krida, Atma Mithuna, and Atmananda. These four things will happen. First, Atma Roti. At that time, he delights in the self. You do not need external objects. The self which is within, you will always float in bliss. That is called Atma Roti. Atma Krida, you will play with that Atman. You will see external world. Each human being is the Atman. You will play with them. That play is a spiritual play. A spiritual joy. Then Atma Mithuna, union, rejoices in the self, union with the self, and revels in the self. And when you have that experience, you are free. That we want. Nobody wants slavery. I want freedom. Even the children want freedom. So, today we are going to talk about today is the 79th lecture on the Gita. We are in the chapter 9. I was thinking that whether these people get bored or not. I'm speaking 79 times on the Gita. Oh, Swami, we are bored. You cannot be bored. Do you know why? If you hear all 79 lectures continuously, you will see every lecture is new. Do you know why? Because I am talking about the infinite. Infinite is always new. Finite things will bring you boredom. As finite human beings, we experience various aspects, various teachings of the Bhagavad Gita, the message of the infinite God. In the same way, we can enjoy something new every day in the message of Buddha, Christ, Ramkrishna. Boring. If you eat the same food every day, 3 times, hamburger or some pasta, morning pasta, noon pasta, night pasta, you will get bored. 1 week you eat only 3 meals, same food, you will be very unhappy. You will be disgusted. We need variety. We love every day something new. Then I was thinking, but we need change. We always want to have change. So I was thinking, I said, what would happen if we change our guru every day? If we change our husband every day? If we change your wife every day, what will happen? It would be a mess. I was thinking, I was applying myself these things on me. I was asking Swami Adi Chetanananda in New York. You know, some people take initiation and go away, eat first. They are like my children. Then he was telling, brother, why are you so upset? In this country, some people change husband, change wife, change guru. What is wrong? I was laughing. But do you know what is the secret? A real husband or real wife, a real student, they see his own self, Atman in the husband. He sees the Atman in his wife. They see the Atman in Guru. That is the way they connect themselves with the infinite, and then they get joy. Otherwise, body, all these things, it becomes old. Puratana, that is one epithet of the Atman. Puraopi Nava. Every day it is new. It never becomes old. What is that? That is only the Atman, the infinite, that I said in the beginning. Bhuma. Bliss is only in the infinite, not in the finite. That Gita teaches. Ramkrishna Vivekananda taught the same thing. How to love that infinite. One funny thing, I was in Advaita Ashrama, I saw one Swami. He used to change his bed, that cot, in same room, every month in a new place. Today I see east side, next day north side, next day southeast corner. Then I was asking Swami, why do you do that? But brother, I really want to make my life interesting. Otherwise I get bored. In the same room I am living, so I am changing position. He's pushing his bed the other side of the room. Some monks are crazy, you know. All right, we shall now start. Chapter 9, verse 11. Krishna says, Abhijananti mang mudha manusing tunumashritam param bhavam ajananta mama bhuta maheshwaram. Unaware of my higher stage as the great Lord of beings, fools disregard me when dwelling in human form. It's just true. This chapter is called Rajavidya Rajagucha Yoga, the way of the sovereign knowledge and sovereign secret. Krishna is trying to unveil his true self to Arjuna, his disciple, cousin, friend. I shall not hide anything from you. I am the infinite God. People think that I am a son of a cowherd of Gokul. They do not know my infinite form, infinite nature. That he will show in the 11th chapter. Vishwarup Darshan, cosmic form. He will give conviction to Arjuna. Look, who am I? It is extremely difficult to understand avatar. If you are not spiritual, you cannot understand a spiritual person. As Sri Ramkrishna says, an eggplant seller does not know the value of a diamond. Only a jeweler knows the value of the diamond. Ordinary people cannot comprehend that infinite. Yesterday I was speaking in Kansas City. Swami Nikhilananda went to Swami Sharadananda and asked, Maharaj, you are a disciple of Ramkrishna. You have power. You can give God realization, samadhi to anybody. Then why do you ask us to practice japam and meditation and spiritual discipline? Why don't you give this vision of God? You can't do that. Do you know what did he answer? He said, sure, I can do that. But the problem is, you will never be able to bear it. Either you will be crazy or you will be drop dead. For the reason I am asking you to practice every day, so that when the spiritual experience will come to you, you will be able to withstand it. You will be able to hold it. Otherwise, you will not be able to hold. Sometimes we hear that somebody got perhaps $100 million jackpot and get a heart attack. But how shall he handle so much money? Because he does not have the capacity to absorb that kind of wealth. Same thing happens in spiritual life. That is the reason we ask practice morning and evening, to gain strength, and so when the real experience comes, you will be able to hold it. Otherwise, you will fall. It is very difficult to understand the infinite God. I was transcribing some tapes I recorded some monks in Calcutta, in Banaras in 1982. That young man went to him and said, Sir, I do not have any faith in God. Nor do I know how to love Him. I have a problem. Him said, I had the same problem. The problem you have, I have the same problem. But do you know how did I get rid of it? One day I was in Dakshineshwar, and Sri Ramkrishna was lying down on his bed after lunch. And I was just caressing, rubbing his feet. sitting on the floor. And I was thinking, he's a man. He eats, he sleeps, he moves, he talks, he behaves. How can he be God? And people say God is the creature, preserver and destroyer of the universe. God is the savior, God is this, God is that. He's a man. Immediately Sri Ramkrishna was lying down, immediately sat on his bed. Hey master, tumi ki bhabcho? Master means he was a school teacher, M. Hey school teacher, what are you thinking? Then he said, about Shab Ekhene, pointing to the heart. This year, time, everything is here. Everything is here. Everything is here. Then he said, Eke bhavale, shab hoye jabe. Eke bhavale, shab hoye jabe. Eke bhavale, shab hoye jabe. 3 times Sri Ramakrishna repeated. If you think this person, you will achieve everything. After repeating 3 times, boom, he went into Samadhi. Then again he came back. Then began to talk with the Divine Mother. Mother, did I say anything wrong? It is you spoke through me. It is not me, Mother. I am your child. What do I know? In this way, he began to talk with the Divine Mother. Aim was just a spectacular, just a spectator, standing, sitting there and watching Sri Ramakrishna. And had that conviction that Sri Ramakrishna is God in human form. His inside, outside is only God. If you touch him, you are touching God. That conviction I had. You see, if he does not reveal, does not give his own grace, if he does not reveal himself out of love, out of compassion, nobody can understand him. When Yoginma's mother came and said, hello, is there any Paramahamsa here? Ha! That lady, old lady, reading the paper about Ramakrishna and came to Ramakrishna in Dakshineshwar and asking this question. Immediately, Sri Ramakrishna said, ha! Paramahamsa. Some people call him temple priest, some people call him crazy Brahmin, and you have come to see Paramahamsa. Find out, ask someone else. Saying so, Sri Ramakrishna left the place. He did not want to be caught by that lady. It is out of grace he reveals himself. Which is, I am telling you about the mystery. Another time, the gardener of Dakshineshwar, he was cleaning the flower garden and other places, bushes. He saw Sri Ramakrishna meditating under the bell tree and a luminous form. Next day he bowed down to the master. Master, bless me. Oh, today I see you have too much devotion. What do you want? Then he said, the form, the luminous form you saw yesterday, meditate on that form. He is an illiterate gardener. But the temple officials, they could not understand him. You see, it is very difficult to understand that a tiny banyan seed can create a huge banyan tree. It is beyond the human comprehension. Tiny. Did you see Bodh Beach? Very small, extremely small. And it creates such a big tree. So that infinite God comes in a finite human form, very difficult to understand. That he is talking about. Avajanante mang mudha. Mudha means dull-headed people. They do not understand me. Manushim tonumashritam. They think that I am a human being. But they do not know my supreme form. Mama bhuta maheswaram. I am the supreme God, creator of this whole universe. All beings. They do not know. When Jesus went to visit his village in Nazareth, the villager says, is he not that carpenter's son? Just see, they couldn't understand, realize who real Jesus was. God's grace. God's grace dawns to that person who is humble, pure, egoless. God reveals to them. Big ego. I was reading, sometimes before I go to the shrine, I read a little gospel of Ramkrishna. Swamiji went to Sri Ramakrishna and asked him, Sir, he was very proud of his learning, his intelligence. Sir, do you have any medicine so that I can forget what I have learned? I have too much intellect. You see, spiritual knowledge comes when you transcend the intellectual plane, mental plane, which is higher. I have a PhD degree. No PhD can go there. People understand the avatar after they depart from this world. Sri Ramakrishna gave a beautiful example. Perhaps you have seen this speedy boat goes through the middle of the Mississippi River. Tremendous speed. It goes quite a mile away, and then the wave splashes on the shore of the river after a long time. It takes time, the shore, middle time, speed, then the waves come, the water waves and come slowly, slowly. Then perhaps after 15 minutes, they will splash on the shore. Similarly, when avatar comes, tremendous speed, they go away. Then after 100, 200 years, people begin to understand. It takes time. Buddhism was spread in 250 BC, during the time of King Ashoka. Christianity is spread in 997 AD. It takes time. Ramkrishna will spread. Avajananti Mangura. Beautiful example. People do not understand God. One day Ramakrishna was in the garden. A doctor came from Calcutta. Hey, gardener, could you give me that flower? He picked up that rose and gave to the doctor. Later on, when the doctor came with Mothur Babu and saw Ramakrishna, Mothur was bowing down. My goodness, I considered him to be a gardener. Now I see he is a Paramahamsa. Next verse. Moghasha mogho karmano mogho jnana vichitasa rakshasim asurim chaiva prakritim mohini shritaha. Of vain hopes, of vain works, of vain knowledge and senseless, they verily are possessed of the delusive nature of Rakshasas and Yosuras. Moghasha. Do you know what these people do? Ashuri Rakshasa. They do not go to God. They try to other places to fulfill their desires. You fulfill my desire. They worship other gods, not real God. Mogo karmanu. They try to achieve something, prosperity. Something achievement in this world. Through rituals, through other means, but they do not succeed. Mogo jnana, kutarko purna pandito. There's some kind of learning, they only discuss all this intellectual, but that knowledge does not help. Vichitasha, the people, they do not have good power of discrimination. In this context, I shall tell you the story of a Buddha. It was a very rainy day. Buddha was walking. He took the shelter under the eaves of a farmer, rich farmer. The farmer saw Buddha standing under the eaves through the window. And he was very happy. You monk, you suffer. Cooked is my rice, milked are my kine, said Dhanya, the herd, the farmer. And here on my Maya's bank I dwell with them that are my peers. Thirsty is my heart, well fed the fire, rain down, God, if thou wilt. Buddha replied, from anger free, with every bar removed, I dwell here on Maya's bank, I sojourn out one night. Roofless my heart, and quenched my fire. Rain down, God, if thou wilt. Beautiful. My wife is beautiful, sleeping next to me. I have bumper harvest. My children are happy. I am warm. O rain, you fall as much as you can. Buddha replied, my senses are controlled. My mind is calm. My heart is illumined. O rain, you fall as much as you can. In this way, the dialogue continued. Later on, this Dhanya, this businessman, this rich man, this farmer, came out from his room and took shelter of Buddha. He was showing his prosperity, and Buddha was showing his spiritual excellence. Beautiful dialogue. It is in Dhanya Sutta, Sutta Nipata, Buddhism. Swami quoted a long, long dialogue. Sri Ramkrishna had said, Maya has two dimensions, Avidya Maya and Vidya Maya. Avidya Maya is what makes for delusion and delusive actions. Vidya Maya lifts one to the higher and higher levels. One can choose between Vidya Maya and Avidya Maya. Do you know, Maya has also two departments. Vidya Maya will force you to be spiritual, will force you to go to Vedanta temple. And Avidya Maya will say that, oh, don't go, weather is no good, just stay at home or see some ball game or some football or something like that, eat, drink and just stay in the living room or go some friends. That is Avidya Maya. You see, I tell you frankly what Vidya Maya does. Tamebyo lokebyo unninishati tam sadhu karma karvati sam sadhu chintayati. It is in the Maitrayani Upanishad. I forgot the source of the Upanishad. Anyhow, whom God loves, do you know what He will do to you? He will force you to go to the holy company. He will force you to think good thoughts. He will force you to do good actions. You cannot help it. That means God loves you. This is the truth. Their numbers are not too many. Or Mughasha, Mugha Karmano, their numbers are many. Avidya department is very large. Vidya department is very small. But Krishna mentioned in the 7th chapter of the Gita, Manushanam sahasreshu koshit jatasiddhai jatatamapi siddhanam koshin mam vetti tattvataha. Among millions of people, few come to spiritual life. And among those few, only few succeed. It is a great journey. If you are illumined, you are what you are. Look at Swami Vivekananda. Whole world knows him. Avidya, Vidya. Next verse. Mahatmanastu mam partha daivim prakritim ashrita bhajanti ananya manasau gatva bhutading abhayam. But the great souled one, Savasana Pritha, possessed of the divine Prakriti, knowing me to be the origin of beings and immutable, worship me with single-mindedness. Mahatma. Who is Mahatma? The person who purifies his mind by practicing austerity, truthfulness, renunciation, devotion, unselfishness. That person is Mahatma. We call Mahatma Gandhi. How did he get that title? He did not get that title from the university. He got that title from millions and millions of people of India. Mahatma. He is a man of truth, man of non-violence. He is Mahatma. He never speaks untruth and zero violence. Well, we do not hate the British. We do not want them to rule us. That's all. We do not hate English people. Only we want to be free. That is sad. I lectured yesterday on Swami Nikhilananda. In next Sunday I shall speak about him. He went to meet Gandhi. And I shall tell next week, otherwise you will lose the interest. Daivi prakriti mashrita, Daivi prakriti, Shama, Dhamma, Daya, Shraddha, Shraddhadi Lakshana. Daivi prakriti. Do you know what Daivi prakriti is? 6 virtues. Shama, Dhamma, Uparati, Titiksha, Shraddha, Samadhan, Shraddha. It is Shatka Sampatti. If you want to be a student of Vedanta, you must endow with these 6 treasures. First, Shama, controlling the mind. Dhamma, controlling the senses. Uparati, know how to draw the mind from the sense objects. Titiksha, forbearance. Samadhana, how to settle the mind, free from worries and anxieties. And Shraddha, faith. These are the 6 treasures you must cultivate, which is extremely important in spiritual life. That is Daivi. Krishna says, that person is Mahatma. He is a great soul who endows with these virtues, who is endowed with this virtue. And what does he do? Bhajanti ananya manasu. He worships me with ananya manasu. That I shall explain to you. What is ananya manasu? Very interesting. He does not want anything other than God. He has so much devotion that he can force God to do anything for him. The real devotee. Ananya manasu. Ekonistha bhakti, the devotion only goes to one point. Only God and God alone. The thing which takes away our mind from God, I don't want to hear. But as I told you some of that story of Gopal Verma, one of the disciples of Ramkrishna gave him a mosquito curtain, new mosquito curtain. That woman repeated mantra 30 years, 16 hours a day, and had the vision of the baby Gopala. That woman was illumined. Sri Ramakrishna, he saw Gopala in everything. Then everyone. Then this monk gave him a mosquito curtain, and he was thinking, if mice can ruin this curtain, what will happen? Whole night he was thinking about mosquito curtain. Next morning he took it and went to the monastery and returned the mosquito curtain to the monks. Take it back. The thing which takes away my mind from God, I don't want it. This mosquito curtain took away my mind from my baby Gopala. Last night I could not repeat my mantra. I only thought about mosquito curtain. That is called real devotion. That is called Ananya Bhakti. That bhakti, that love never shakes, never moves, one-pointed. As Krishna says, Ananya Bhakta, Ananya Manaso Bhajati, with one-pointed mind they worship me. They are Mahatma. They are great souls. And what do? They know that I am the Bhutadim Abhayam. I am the immutable Brahman, that God, who is the source of all beings. Bhajanti Ananya Manasu. Abhay. Do you know what our problem? We love our husband, husband dies. We love our wife, wife dies. We love our parents, they die. We love our children, they die. We see the person we love always die and die and die and disappear. My love goes away. But this Ananya Manaso, if you love God, that God never dies. God doesn't die. That he is talking about, Ananya Manaso. I used to tease one of our devotees that your husband loves you so much that when you will die, your husband will build a Taj Mahal on you. Taj Mahal, Swami, next day he will marry another woman. Some people are so funny. He doesn't know anything else other than God. Mahatma nastu mam partha doivim prakritimashritah. Endowed with this, my divine nature, they worship me. Bhajanti, they worship. In the 14th verse, Sri Krishna explains how they worship. When we have a sattvic mind, our worship of God becomes constant. There is not a particular time for it. When we begin our spiritual life, we fix some time for going to the temple or for sitting in prayer and meditation, etc. But when the mind becomes sattvika, when we achieve that kind of purity inside, then it becomes a constant worship of the divine. How it works, do you know? That answer also in the Upanishad. In Chandogya Upanishad, what happens when your mind becomes pure? Ahara shuddhau sattva shuddhau dhruva smriti lambe sarva gruntinam vipramoksha, which is in Chandogya Upanishad. Ahar means food. Don't think you eat only through your mouth. We eat through 5 senses. Through the eyes we eat. Through the nose we eat. Eat means we gather in. That means eating. Nose, ears, mouth, through skin, you eat, you gather knowledge through the skin. So all these sense organs are continuously collecting things from outside, inside. Day and night. Remember, you are doing these things consciously, unconsciously. Ahara shuddhau. But if you gather all the best, pure spiritual things constantly inside, do you know what will happen? Ahara shuddhau, sattva shuddhi. Upanishad says sattva means mind. Mind becomes pure. If you give bad food to the junk food to the body will bring disease. Good food, nutritious food, body will be healthy. Same thing, mind. If you give good food to the mind, it will be healthy mind. Ahara shuddha, sattva shuddhi. Sattva shuddha, dhruva smriti. When the mind becomes pure, what happens? Dhruva smriti. Constant recollectedness of God. A pure mind only thinks about God and God and God alone. Dhruva smriti. Smriti lambe sarva grunthinam vipramoksha. When we have that kind of constant recollectedness, vipramoksha, you will be free. So just try to think how important it is to think about God. We cannot think of God all the time, but most of the time if you do, your life will be changed. Sri Ramkrishna mentioned about, not only Sri Ramkrishna, it is in the Panchadasi, even in the Vaishnava scripture, they mention how it works. If a woman has a secret lover, she does all household work, but her mind dwells in the paramour. Sri Ramkrishna said that you are working, but if you have tooth pain, your mind is always on the tooth pain, but you are vacuuming, you are cleaning, you are cooking, you are doing all sorts of things. That happens. Once you get the taste of God, it will be hard for you to forget Him. Day and night you will find He will come to your room, in your mind. You can have visions. You will find insights. Another person is living and guiding you. That comes from Ananya Bhakti, that one point of devotion. Please remember, these things have been experimented and verified. It works. I remember one day in Hollywood, Swami Prabhupada is a great Swami. I was with him for 5 years, 71 to 76. One day he was telling me, Chetanananda, I am a little depressed. I asked, why? Why are you depressed? Great Swami. Previously I used to go to the shrine 3 times a day. Morning, noon and evening. And now I cannot go. Because after the heart attack, I get dizzy, and so I cannot go to the shrine. Then I consoled him. I was a young monk at that time, 35, 36 years old. And he was in his late 70s. I said, Swami, you met Holy Mother. You are a disciple of Brahmananda. You met so many Jari disciples of Ramkrishna. They are memories. They are reminiscences. They are all in your mind. And you think about them, don't you? Please, yes, they are always in my mind. And then you don't need to go to the shrine. This is called Sahaja Yoga. Sahaja means natural. Natural awareness of God. You may not be in the shrine, but all the time you are thinking about God. That happens, even in working field. In between work, you think about Thakur, Master. That is the way transformation comes. Transformation comes that way. Their numbers must be few. Not too many people can do that. But because still they have tremendous desire for world. Next verse is very, very important. That those who have that one-pointed devotion, how to get that devotion? These are all interconnected, these verses. If I have that one-pointed devotion, how can I cultivate it? How can I get it? Krishna says, Satatam kirtayantu mam Yatantasya dhira brataha namasantasya mam bhakta nityayukta upasate. Beautiful verse. Glorifying me always and striving with firm resolve, bowing down to me in devotion, all is steadfast, they worship me. So, he gave 5 instructions. This is the 5 ways you can have one point of devotion to me. First, satatam kirtayantu. Satatam, always. Kirtan. Glorify God's name. Chanting God's name. You know, I have some that serial of Ramayana, Mahabharata, Ramayana, then Padma Purana, then Krishna. I have all the DVDs, devotees gave to me. I watched all of them. Sometimes I think I do not, a day and night I want to watch it. Because I see various characters. Bad characters, good characters. And I see the evolution of these people. And what is the result? A Ravana, a Krishna, all the Arjuna, all these different characters, they manifest, and I can see that what character I shall imitate. They are very, very helpful. So, Shatata Kirtayantu, Kirtan, the person you love, you talk about that person. That is called Kirtan. Those who love baseball, they are all talking baseball. Those who love some other things, they talk. I went to a person, day and night he was talking about money and investment. 2 hours only I heard money and investment. He is that kind of person. He has his own company, investing company. That is his interest. There is nothing wrong. That is his business. Sarvade Kirtan. Next. Jatantasya. Jatanta. Sometimes people talk about God, but they do not make any effort to realize God. Jatanta. Jatanta is making effort. Not only mentally, but physically, verbally, and to divert all the senses toward God. That is called Jatanta. Jatanta means sincere effort. When you are repeating mantra, whether the mantra is going to a chosen deity or not, you must watch. It is going in which direction. Sometimes repeating mantra, mind is Delhi, mind is somewhere else. That is called Jatantasya. Very sincere. With one point of devotion. And he wants to, really sincerely wants me. Sincerity is the most important thing in spiritual life. Next, Dhirabrata. Dhirabrata means, some people come, I see, after coming a few days, again they disappear. And again come, again disappear. No way. Dhirabrata means steadfast devotion. I remember when I joined the monastery, an old monk told me, "Hello, young man, be like a quack dentist." I was thinking, what is quack dentist? Well, you do not understand, no? Listen, a dentist went to a dental school, want to be a dentist. So his professor taught him that when you take the tooth out, you grab it with a clump, and and when you hold it, don't leave it go, let it go. Just move and then pull. So this man has a one tooth bad, he went to the dentist, but extract the tooth, he went there. So the dentist gave the Novocaine injection and he grabbed the good one instead of the bad one. So he grabbed it, then the patient shouted, cried out, "What are you doing? That is the good one." But then, look, my professor taught, when you grab it, don't let it go, pull it. So he pulled the good one. That is called quack dentist. So he was telling me, when you join the monastery, be a quack dentist. When you don't go back home, stay here all through your life. I shall never forget that advice of that monk. That is Dida Brata. Next qualification, namastantasya mam bhakta. Bowing down to me in devotion. You know, in Indian culture, we find when we go to the temple, we bow down. We make our head down. You know, but you know, Catholics also, I saw, they kneel down. They do not bow down. But we see, you know, when Pope comes, Pope washes the feet of the people and, you know, kisses the feet, washes the feet. That is called humility. That Krishna is talking about. You do not have a big ego. You will never, never realize God. You might have money, you might have learning, never. Big ego. Big ego. That he is talking. Namastantasya mansa, namo. Do you know what namo means? No mamo. Not I. You, thou. That is called namo. Namo means salutation. Salutation means I bow down to you. In this respect, I saw Japanese. Do you know them, how they move their head? Did you see the Japanese people? In India, we always with folded hands. This is the way we pay respect, we salute. This is the way. Namaste. That means I really bow down to you. That shows humility. You know, how the custom comes. I remember one of my friends, he was very funny. He was an orthopedic surgeon in Calcutta, but he was trained in England. Then he was telling me, do you know, Swami, how the customs come? I go, how? Sometimes in the West, you know, men takes the hats off, you know, take the hats off. That way they show respect to the women. Hats off. This custom started from Scandinavia. I don't know how. But in Scandinavia, in olden days, they have a mask. You see, they used to fight with the sword. Helmet. Only eyes are visible. And whole head are covered. All the metal dress, all these things, so that if I hit you, your body will not cut. All the soldiers in that time, in olden days, when there is no bullet, no gun, at that time with sword and the spears, that is the way they used to fight. But that system, that hats up to show respect to the women, it came from Scandinavia. Those soldiers, when they used to see the beautiful girls, they used to lift their helmet up so that they can see. Otherwise, only they cannot see properly. They take the helmet up so that they can see those women. And now that has come, I am showing respect to you, lifting the hat. He was trying to explain to me how the custom, all these things come to the culture. Amazing. You see that we go to the temple, we bow down to the Lord, we bow down to the holy people. The custom came, Lord, I offer myself to you, surrender to you. Humility. If you are humble, then the other person will come and help you. Muslims, do you know how the Muslim culture came? If you want to see the Nawab or the Badshah, From 20 feet, 30 feet above, away, you will have to do kurnish. Do you know what kurnish is? This kurnish is like this. This is the way a Muslim will go to a statue to see the Nawab. Like this. When I salute you, I salute you. Do you know what that means? Means I am not a weapon. I am not going to kill you. This is a custom of kurnish. You are saying that I am saluting you. Actually, the meaning is this, that I have no weapons. I am not going to attack you or kill you. How these customs come in every culture, in every religion. Amazing. Namaste Shamam Nityam. They bow down to me. Nitya Yukta Upashate. Nitya Yukta. Always connected. A connection. Sometimes did you notice the whole hour you sat in the shrine? No connection. No connection with the Ishta. You were miserable. Mind was restless, moving around. But the day you get connection, you are so happy. Is that day you do not want to leave the seat from the shrine. I don't like to go to work. I want to see longer in the shrine. That day you got some taste. That we need. I am telling you, these are all secrets of the spiritual life. How to get taste. Nitya Yukta Upashate. Navasravanam Kirtanam Vishnu Smaranam Padasevanam Archanam Bandhanam Dashyam Sakyam Atmanivedanam. In Vishnu Purana there are 7 ways you can attain devotion. Shravanam, hearing. Bandhanam, worship. Kirtanam, glorifying God's name. Smaranam, remembering Him. Padasevanam, serving Him. Archanam, worshipping Him. Bandhanam, I already mentioned, worshipping. Dashyam, serving Him. Sakyam Atmanivedanam, establishing friendship with Him. Atmanivedanam, offering yourself to God. These are the 9 ways you can attain devotion. Believe if I practice these 5 things you have mentioned in the verse 14, what shall I gain? Madhbhava agata. Madhbhava. Krishna says, you will realize God. You will attain me. You will see me. If you have these 5 ways, if you practice. You know, Kirtayanta, do you know what Sri Ramkrishna said? He asked that novelist. He who eats radish belches radish. The thing which you think, that you speak. You think day and night. You was asking that novelist, what is the goal of human life? Eat, sleep, and have sex life. That he said. Bankim Chandra Chatterjee. Sri Ramakrishna immediately thundered him. You are very saucy. The person who eats radish belches radish. Day and night you think about those things, that comes from your mouth. Akbar here smashed the famous novelist. Swadharmam agata. And you will get godly nature. Your inside, outside will be divine. That is the goal of human life. Thank you. Bhadram karnevi shrunayama devaha Bhadram pasye makshabhirjajatraha Sthirairangaye sostubhagum sastanuvihi Vishima devahi tayyadayuhu Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. May we hear with our ears what is auspicious. May we see with our eyes what is good, strong in limbs and body. O Lord, may we sing your praise and enjoy the life allotted to us by you. Oh, peace, peace, peace.